Hello and welcome to Daily Records. I am Tommy Burton and we are talking about guitar heroes, and you cannot talk about guitar heroes without talking about the Yardbirds, the band that launched many English guitar heroes, including this guy right here, Mr. Jeff Beck. Also in this band was Jimmy Page and Eric Clapton. So also featured in this series. Now, a little bit of backing up on this album. This was actually Roger the Engineer was the original album in the UK. It was released as just sort of Yardbirds, and in the United States, this is the United States version, as well as Germany and France, as Over, Under, Sideways, Down. Now, this was released on July 15th, 1966 in the UK with a different cover, just different, every look altogether. July 18th, 1966. And this is the only Yardbirds album to feature Jeff Beck on all the tracks. And it also has all original material. Now, a lot of people... like it was a self-titled album in the UK, but it became known as Roger the Engineer because of the drawing on the cover. It was the audio engineer Roger Cameron that Chris Dreja drew this strange photo, and it became known as Roger the Engineer. But this was included in the book 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die, and it also was ranked on the Rolling Stones album 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. Now, there was a single, Over, Under, Sideways, Down. The B-side of that was Jeff's Boogie, recorded in '66, and the rest of the album was recorded at Advision Studios. Paul Samuel Smith and Simon Napier Bell produced the album. And it's gone on to be one of the best Yardbirds albums. I mean, for a band to produce so many great musicians and well-known artists, this was probably their best at sort of reaching that sort of psychedelia. And for the time period, it was one of the greats. I'll show you guys the label. Mine is an Epic mono copy. So, like I said, the American version of the album. But, Over, Under, Sideways, Down. Also, Hot House of Almagarashid. Jeff's Boogie. He's Always There. What Do You Want? Just a solid group of songs, and a really pleasant listen. Now, for people that aren't sure, because I mean the Yardbirds later morphed into what became Led Zeppelin. They boasted all these things. I remember when the Yardbirds got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a lot of people were like scratching their heads, but I'm thinking this band boasted really the triumvirate of great British guitarists: Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, and now my mind is going blank. I've been doing too many of these. Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, and Eric Clapton all were in this band. That says quite a lot about who the Yardbirds were. Now, they never quite were on the same level of the other sort of British bands like The Who or the Beatles or the Rolling Stones. They probably were closer to bands that weren't quite as big in the United States like the Kinks, but it wasn't because the music wasn't just a rave up of total fun. And so certainly a worthy group and a fantastic album. So no matter what name it goes under, Roger the Engineer, Over, Under, Sideways, Down, whatever you want to call it, it's one of the great albums and one of the great guitar albums of the '60s. It predates Hendrix and a lot of those sort of big guitar albums that would come out. So it does bridge that gap nicely. So today's daily record: Over, Under, Sideways, Down, Roger the Engineer, Yardbirds, whatever you want to call it. Like, comment, subscribe, share, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's TommyBurton75. Love hearing from and interacting with you guys. In the meantime, I will see you all again tomorrow with another daily record.